Hello, San Diego. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8 Plus. I'm meteorologist Sean Stiles with a look at the weather. And man, oh man, this has just been a devastating week for Southern California with fires raging across the Los Angeles basin. We continue to see a red flag warning here in San Diego, basically from the mountains all the way to the I-15 corridor, and winds pushing all the way out to the coastline. Humidity is bone dry everywhere. The red flag warning will expire tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. I want to take you up into the Los Angeles area and show you what they're dealing with there. Pretty much the entire Riverside County, Orange County, into the Los Angeles County, Ventura, and Santa Barbara County seeing some sort of fire situation as far as a red flag warning. We also have a freeze warning in the purple areas. Air quality extremely poor for obvious reasons with all the fires in the Los Angeles basin. And then issues offshore with the offshore winds created making boating unsafe in the Santa Cruz, or make that Santa Barbara down into the Los Angeles waters offshore. Look at these winds forecasts for tomorrow morning. This is from Santa Barbara all the way down into the San Diego area, and you can see the winds continue to flow offshore. Very strong around Santa Ana at 29 miles per hour, but also here in San Diego at 43 miles per hour in and around the Julian area. As we get into the overnight hours tomorrow, you'll notice the winds start to die down, and then they eventually completely die down and we go to a much more normal wind pattern, albeit offshore. It's nowhere near as strong as it's been. Today in San Diego, 74 was the high. That's well above our average by 7 degrees. And the one thing I really want to point out is how dry it's been. We've had 14/100ths of an inch of rain so far this year. We should be almost at 4 inches. So you can see that we are at a huge deficit here. Highs around the county today, above average by quite a bit across the county, although the mountains were rather chilly in the 40s, 66 in the Borrego Springs area. I mentioned the cold air. Look how chilly it's going to be in Ramona tonight. 34 degrees, 39 in El Cajon, low to mid 40s from the coast all the way into the inland areas. Escondido at 41, Campo 37. Temperatures rebound a little bit tomorrow. Not as warm as it was today, but that's because the high pressure is shifting a little bit and we're starting to see the atmosphere mix a little bit, bring in a little bit more, well, sea breeze, as it were, the atmosphere mixing, and that's going to calm the temperatures down a little bit. Currently in the downtown area, 62 degrees, but look at that humidity, 14%, so it is bone dry. Across the nation, not a whole lot of weather happening other than this cold Arctic blast coming down out of Canada. We call this continental air, and it is pushing all the way south. St. Louis at 17 degrees, Chicago 11, so some very cold air. Bismarck 1, and Minneapolis 2. Out west, very mild, 48 degrees in Las Vegas, 58 in the Phoenix area. Even San Francisco enjoying a 53 degrees, although that cold air is sinking down to 39 degrees in Jackson, Mississippi. All right, you can see this blast coming down here, and it's pushing into the northeast, but not a lot of energy associated with that. As we move into the central part of the country, there's the activity on the jet stream coming across the northern Rockies, but high pressure blocking everything out of the western half of the United States. And look how dramatic this high pressure is. It's pushing everything up and over the top into the Pacific Northwest. Current temperatures across the southwest here in California, 30 degrees in the Mammoth Lakes area, 46 in Monterey, 60 in Palm Springs, 58 in Phoenix, and 48 in Las Vegas. All right, here's the area of low pressure. This is called a Rex blocker when you have a high pressure above a low pressure. What creates this is the jet stream shoots into the Midwest and northern Rockies. That cuts this low off. High pressure settles in over the top of it, and this low just sits there because nothing is pulling it out of the region until this high pressure starts to shift a little bit. It's kind of like a bubble. It allows it to kind of move a little bit closer to the coastline, and then you'll notice the jet stream a little bit closer. That'll eventually pull this low pressure into a main area of low pressure as well, and the high moves offshore. So we'll start to see a change in the atmosphere. As far as wind gusts locally are concerned, not up in the LA basin, but San Diego, it stays very windy overnight in the mountains, and it stays windy throughout much of the mid-morning into the early afternoon. It's not until we get into the latter part of the day and into Thursday that the winds switch and actually come back on shore, so we'll start to see that change in the atmosphere. We keep the Weather impact alert in the inland microclimates will still be very dry and windy out to the coastline, but not at the alert level. And then look at how those temperatures drop down as we make our way towards Friday and Saturday. There's an outside chance of a sprinkle or two coming by, but it's too far out right now, and this high pressure has been blocking so much. And don't forget to celebrate the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on Monday. For you folks in the mountains, we're looking at the exact same thing with this weather alert impact taking place in the mountains, and then those temperatures actually they get a little bit warmer because the high pressure is not squeezing the colder air aloft to the surface. The deserts, the winds will die down and it'll be just spectacular weather out there. And again, the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday celebration on Monday. That's a look at your weather.